After my family went bankrupt, I married the blonde guy who came to collect debts. 3 months into the marriage, I planned for divorce every single day, until that early morning, when I grabbed my last few pieces of clothing and rushed toward the door. A few lines of bullet comments suddenly floated before my eyes. Run. What good ending could there possibly be for a gold-digging supporting female character like this? You don't know it yet. But this blonde guy you look down on will become a business tycoon who can shake the entire industry with just a stomp. Once you're gone, the gentle female lead will immediately come to redeem him. I suddenly turned around and looked at Leonard, who was washing his underwear in the dimly lit bathroom. Him, a business tycoon. Hello, everyone, welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. In the bathroom, Leonard was doing laundry. I abruptly sat up. That's it, I can't take this life for one more day. The sound of running water stopped. A few seconds later, the bathroom door opened a crack. The dim light outlined Leonard's soapy profile. Did I wake you? Almost done. I stared at him coldly. Leonard, let's get a divorce. Under the light, his lips moved slightly, but no sound came out. Speak up. Cat got your tongue, Jennifer. He finally spoke. Next month is Dad's birthday. Don't mention my dad. I jumped like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. I can't stay here for another second. The moment my fingers touched the icy door latch, high alert ahead, the iconic scene of the drama queen supporting character making her grand exit. Ha ha ha. Classic. Her gold-digging tendencies are acting up again. What's the rush? Doesn't she know this blonde guy will become a business tycoon whose mere stomp can shake the entire industry? Good that she ran away. Just wait for the gentle female lead to come and redeem him. Sitting back to watch the face slapping, a few glaring bullet comments appeared before my eyes. I slowly turned my head. At the bathroom door, Leonard was still standing there. My throat was dry, my voice hoarse and distorted. What did you just say? Leonard looked up at me in confusion, his eyes filled with pure bewilderment. I didn't say anything. Pfft, she's lost it. Massive worldview collapse in progress. A new barrage of malicious comments floated past. Jennifer, Leonard called out again, tentatively, don't come any closer. I took a sudden step back, my back hitting the cold door panel. All right, I won't come any closer. He immediately stopped. Hugh, calm down first. Want some water? I boiled some hot water. Leonard, I called out to him. Tell me, who exactly are you? He paused in his tracks and slowly turned his head back. I am Leonard. Jennifer, what's wrong with you? Ha ha ha. A soul-searching question, male lead's inner monologue. I'm your husband, wife. Let me tell you, Leonard, if it weren't for my dad, if he hadn't begged me on his deathbed, saying you'd take care of me, I'd rather jump off a building than marry a debt-collecting punk like you. He opened his mouth as if to say something in defense, but in the end just lowered his head even further. I'm sorry. Heartbreaking. The male lead is shattered. The young lady's words are truly vicious. But somehow I feel a bit sorry for him. What's going on? Creak. The dilapidated wooden door was suddenly pushed open a crack. Next door, Mary's face peeked in. Oh dear. I say, Leonard, what's all this racket in the middle of the night? Your wife is really too much, isn't she? Smashing pots and bowls every other day. How are you supposed to live like this? Her eyes darted around as she sized me up from head to toe. If you ask me, that woman deserves a beating. This spoiled princess attitude needs to be dealt with sooner rather than later. Mary, Leonard interrupted Mary with a cold, hard voice. Jennifer, she's just not used to it. She's never had to endure this kind of hardship before. He paused, his tone softening again, carrying a near stubborn protectiveness. She's fine. It's my lack of ability that's made her suffer. Mary was momentarily stunned by his retort, then pursed her lips. Fine, take kindness for ill intent. Just keep spoiling her, you'll regret it. With that, she slammed the door shut with a loud bang. The male lead's protection. I'm so moved I could die. Young lady, open your eyes and see. This man is a treasure. Just wait until the female lead arrives, then you'll be crying. Female lead. Those two words pierced my nerves like needles. I stared fixedly at Leonard's foam-covered, bony-knuckled hands. Could these laundry-washing hands truly stir up storms in the future? Is the young mistress still sulking? Time to let it go. But speaking of which, how long have these two been married? Why does it feel so strangely distant? The last barrage comment was like a tiny needle, lightly pricking me. Distant, more than just distant, married. For almost 3 months now, he has never touched me once. Leonard silently walked to the only small window in the room, shaking out each piece of clothing before hanging them on the wire. The dim yellow light outlined the contours of his profile, with faded strands of hair still dripping water droplets. Hey, he paused mid-motion, turning his head to look at me with questioning eyes. I walked to the bedside, feeling my cheeks grow slightly warm. The wooden bed, is it, uncomfortable? It gets pretty cold at night. Is the young lady actually concerned about Leonard? Did the sun rise from the west today? Focus, is she hinting at something? After 3 months of living together, are we finally going to share a bed? Leonard clearly didn't grasp my hidden meaning. He hung up the last piece of clothing, placed the basin back in the corner, and said in a flat, unemotional tone, "It's fine. I'm used to it, not cold." His utterly unresponsive wooden demeanor left me completely exasperated. "Leonard," I raised my voice, with a hint of flustered anger. "I mean, tonight, you come sleep on the bed." The air instantly froze. Leonard whirled around, his damp eyes staring straight at me. "Pfft, the young mistress is so direct. I like it." Leonard is stunned. Ha ha ha. Pupil earthquake. Is he thinking he's hearing things? Say yes already, you fool. Your wife is calling you to bed. I stiffened my neck and retorted, "I let you sleep on the bed because I was afraid you'd freeze to death on that broken plank, and then I'd have to clean up your corpse. Do you think I want this? It's all because Mary keeps gossiping every day, saying we don't act like a couple. So damn annoying." The more I spoke, the more convinced I became of my own reasoning. Besides, even if this bed is shabby, at least it's a proper bed. It's not like I'm going to eat you. You take that side, just stay far away from me. After saying this, I turned my back to him and lay down, pulling the blanket over my head. Is he angry with me? Do you think I'm being unreasonable? Or do you really dislike me? A mix of grievance and embarrassment slowly welled up inside me. I knew it. This blockhead, this blondie, he just doesn't. Just as my eyes began to sting and I was about to throw off the blanket to scold him some more, the mattress behind me sank ever so slightly. I lay there stiffly, not daring to move a muscle, even holding my breath. He seemed to occupy only the very edge of the bed, his body rigid like a piece of stone. There was enough space between us to fit at least one more person. He's lying down. He's lying down. This distance. Is there a Milky Way between us? Leonard must be so nervous he's holding his breath. Miss, stop pretending to be asleep. I can hear your heartbeat. Damn it. How do these comments even know about this? My toes curled up from nervousness. This silent sharing of a bed was more unbearable than any argument. I tried to very slightly, like a snail, shrink further into the blanket, attempting to find a more comfortable position. Almost at the same time, I'm going to take a shower. Leonard suddenly sat up, his voice urgent and hoarse. He didn't even wait for my reaction before rushing into the bathroom without looking back. I'm dying of laughter. The classic "I need to take a shower" excuse. Leonard, help. My wife is too irresistible. I can't handle it. I get it. With the one you love right beside you, able to look but not touch, who could resist? Maybe he just can't bear to touch you. Young lady, afraid of being too forward. Absolutely. Look at how stiff he was when he lay down just now, like lying on a bed of nails. Miss, you savor it carefully. This man is a keeper. When I woke up in the morning, Leonard had already left, rubbing my sleepy eyes. I shuffled over to the stove in my slippers. A chipped, broken bowl held 2 soft-boiled eggs. Beneath the bowl was a crumpled note with Leonard's awkward handwriting. "There's congee in the pot. Heat it up before eating. I'm going to the construction site. Back tonight." I pouted. High energy alert ahead. The young lady's home is about to be stolen. Where is Leonard now? Who is he with? He. Who else could it be? Of course, it's the gentle, considerate, and perfectly matched true heroine Ivy, with Ivy, laughing and chatting together. Oh no. The young mistress will be kicked out as soon as she wakes up. Useless trash only knows how to drag others down. The moment the true female lead arrives, Leonard snaps right out of it. waiting for the divorce papers. Downtown cafe, Ivy, laughing and chatting. Kicked out, cheater. Leonard, you big liar. Talking about going to the construction site. Turns out he went to meet his true love. With the location spoiled by the bullet comments, I quickly rushed to the entrance of that downtown coffee shop. Holy shit, the young miss is really going for it. Battle Royale. I'm loving this. Fight, fight. Oh no. This is going to be a self-inflicted humiliation. Through the bright floor-to-ceiling glass, I immediately spotted Leonard in the corner booth. Sure enough, he wasn't wearing that dust-covered work uniform. He had changed into a faded but relatively clean gray hoodie. Across from him sat a woman. She wore a well-tailored beige cashmere sweater, with her long hair cascading smoothly over her shoulders. Leonard seemed to be saying something to her, with an expression I'd never seen before, relaxed. Meanwhile, I stood outside the glass window, travel-worn, with disheveled hair and wearing an outdated old trench coat, completely out of place. I took a deep breath, forcibly suppressing the surging emotions, and hid to the side. All I saw was Leonard glancing at his watch, then standing up and saying something to Ivy. Leonard left the cafe one step ahead. Ivy remained seated, seemingly organizing her handbag. In just a few strides, I reached Ivy's side. Ivy was clearly startled, looking at me in astonishment. Fine, you don't know me. Just what I had in mind. I straightened my back and raised my chin. So you're Ivy, the one who wants Leonard? I didn't give her time to react, leaning slightly forward and lowering my voice. Deal, give me $5 million, cash. A check will do too. As long as the money is in place, I'll divorce him right away, pack him up, tie a bow, and personally deliver him to your bed. The air instantly froze. Ha 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 ha, help, I can't stop laughing. The young miss is auctioning off her husband Liv. Does Leonard know his wife priced him at $5 million? Ivy looked at me in disbelief. $5 million? To buy him? Too expensive. Could it be Leonard not even worth $5 million in the eyes of these soulmates? All right. Since you're the true female lead, I'll give you a friendship discount, $4.8 million. That's the lowest I can go. I quickly took out a pen and paper to jot down my phone number. Here's my contact info. Call me when you've made up your mind. Once the money's ready, I'll sign and disappear immediately. With that, I swiftly left the coffee shop. Did you really leave contact info? You're actually serious, miss, selling your husband for $5 million. For $8 million as a friends and family discount. How's that? Leonard's value just crashed. Ivy, who am I? Where am I? What kind of new scam is this? Oh no. I feel like Leonard already has a price tag on his head. Evening. The rented room. Leonard returned, covered in dust and carrying a faint scent of sweat. As usual, he headed straight to the bathroom to shower. Then he squatted at the bathroom door and started scrubbing the clothes. Leonard is doing laundry again. Sigh. The desperate husband still doesn't know he's about to be sold off. Miss, how can you bear it? Such a good man and you're pricing him at $8 million. Bullet comments flew across the screen, carrying the wails of frustration over unmet expectations. The inexplicable irritation in my heart grew heavier. What's there to whitewash? It's about to be sold off. 2 days later. The barrage is flooding the screen like crazy. Alert, alert. The male lead is meeting the female lead again at the bench in West City Park. It's over, miss. Your $8 million is at risk. They might just steal him away. Is Ivy trying to bypass the middlemen and freeload directly? That's not playing by the rules. Ivy didn't contact me. She really wants to cut me out and deal directly. My $5 million, no, $8 million is about to slip away. I quickly went out and followed the navigation to find my way. Sure enough, on a bench by the lake, Leonard and Ivy were sitting side by side. Leonard slightly tilted his head, as if listening to Ivy speak. I rushed up to them in a few steps, hands on my hips. Hey, Leonard, what a mood you're in. Shouldn't you be hauling bricks at the construction site in broad daylight instead of romancing under the moon and flowers here? I sarcastically fired at Leonard. Then instantly turned the spearhead toward Ivy, my gaze cutting like a knife. Miss Ivy, that's not very decent of you, is it? Even if the deal falls through, there's still goodwill. We can discuss the price again. What's the meaning of bypassing me? The original partner, and directly cozying up to my husband. Where's your professional ethics? Trying to get a free ride? Huh, Jennifer? Leonard suddenly stood up, his face showing undisguised astonishment and anxiety. It's not what you think. We were just, he hurriedly tried to explain. Miss Jennifer. Ivy also stood up, her voice still gentle. She raised her hand and gently pressed down on the arm of Leonard, who was about to rush forward. Leonard, could you wait for me over there first? I need to talk to Miss Jennifer alone. Leonard looked at me, then at Ivy, and reluctantly walked to a tree not far away. Glancing back every few steps, Ivy turned to me, her face showing no trace of anger at being accused. I crossed my arms and glared at her warily. What do you want to talk about? Lowering the price, let me tell you, for $8 million is the bottom line. Ivy gently shook her head, her clear eyes looking straight at me. Miss Jennifer, first of all, please believe that there is no personal relationship between me and Leonard that you might be concerned about. I am the arranged marriage partner assigned by his father, Mr. Tom. I froze for a moment, my arms loosening slightly from their crossed position. She paused. Leonard's mother, Aunt Kay, was a close friend of my mother in their youth. They were once as close as sisters. Noticing my suddenly widened eyes, she continued, so, I know Kay Auntie's story. How she was abandoned by Leonard's father, raised Leonard alone, and in the end, passed away in sorrow. Ivy's voice grew even softer, yet every word was clear. My approach to Leonard was, first, under family pressure. I couldn't resist. Second, I genuinely wanted to help him. Her expression turned serious. Leonard is in great danger now. His father is critically ill, and the Carlson family is eyeing him like a pack of tigers. He's isolated and defenseless, so he needs time to gather strength, needs a shield like me to stand in the open, to confuse his enemies and divert their attention. She looked at me with a gaze that was open and resolute, and I am willing to be that shield. I was completely stunned, my arms dropping limply to my sides. Jennifer, the reason he's done all this, endured the father he detests, and maneuvered within this family he loathes, a large part of it is to gain enough power to protect you. A tsunami of information crashed over me. I opened my mouth to say something, but my throat felt blocked. In the end, I turned my face away and let out a short, sharp breath through my nose. Who needs his protection? I'm perfectly fine on my own. Ivy watched my awkward demeanor, the corner of her lips curling into a faint, knowing smile. She didn't say anything more, simply standing up gracefully. I've said all I needed to say. Miss Jennifer, goodbye. With that, she gave a slight nod toward Leonard's direction before turning to leave. I stood frozen in place, my mind in complete turmoil. Leonard quickly walked over and cautiously said, Jennifer, what did she tell you? Don't listen to her nonsense. Shut up. I stomped my foot in frustration and turned to walk away. After a few steps, I suddenly stopped and turned to look at him. What are you still standing there for? Let's go home. I'm thirsty. Leonard paused for a moment. Then a faint light seemed to flicker in his eyes as he hurried to catch up. Okay, let's go home. I'll pour you some water. In the evening, Leonard waited until I finished showering before he took his turn. By the time he returned, I was already curled up under the covers. He climbed onto the other side of the bed quietly, careful not to touch me, and turned off the dim bedside lamp. In the darkness, only his steady and slightly heavy breathing could be heard. Hey, I couldn't help but speak up, my voice sounding abrupt in the silence. He responded, his voice thick with sleep. Why, did you marry me? This question has been weighing on my mind for a long time. Just because my dad paid for your mom's medical expenses back then. There was silence beside me for a few seconds, so long that I thought he had fallen asleep. His voice was very low, carrying a kind of stubbornly simple logic. Your dad was a good man, so are you. He paused, as if searching for the right words. That day, no one came to chase me out of your garden either. I was taken aback, a vague memory flashing through my mind, a corner of some summer banquet, a grubby blonde boy hiding in the shadows, watching with longing eyes. Did I casually hand him a half-eaten piece of cake? That was so many years ago, all for a piece of cake. I can't believe it. Leonard, are you an idiot, working yourself to death just to repay such a small favor? and even marrying a troublemaker in the process. In the darkness, he seemed to let out a faint laugh, brief and hoarse with exhaustion. Not an idiot. A few days later, it was my dad's birthday. Leonard had promised to come back early today to accompany me to visit the grave. I waited and waited, but he still didn't return. Just as I was about to go out to look for him, an unknown number sent me an address. I'm Ivy. Leonard has been forcibly taken back to the old house. Come quickly, with Ivy's given address. I took a taxi to the Carlson family's old house halfway up the mountain. I stood at the villa's entrance, banging on the door. Bang, bang, bang. The door opened, and a bodyguard looked down at me condescendingly. Who are you looking for? I'm looking for Leonard, my husband. The bodyguard stood motionless, like a wall. Just as I was about to throw a tantrum, Ivy's figure appeared in the depths of the foyer just in time. She walked over quickly, gave the bodyguard a look, and whispered, "Let her in, she's Leonard's wife." Ivy grabbed my wrist and whispered, "They're in the master bedroom on the second floor. The situation isn't good, you." I didn't have time to think carefully, shaking off her hand as I rushed inside. On the European-style carved bed lay an emaciated elderly man. Standing by the bedside was Leonard, looking like I'd never seen him before. His back was ramrod straight, with both hands clenched into tight fists at his sides. Ahem, Leonard. Tom pulled something out from under the pillow. It was an old brooch. This was your mother, Kay, her favorite. Ahem, shut up. Leonard suppressed his anger with a snap. That tiny brooch was violently swept off onto the carpet by him. You're not worthy to mention her. It was you ruined her life, made her endure scorn, left her to die sick and destitute, made her call your name with her dying breath, and now, when you're about to die, you remember her, remember me, the bastard you never wanted to acknowledge. Tom trembled violently from his roar, making strange guttural sounds, while the doctors and nurses nearby panicked. Seeing this, the two bodyguards by the door sharpened their gaze and immediately rushed forward to restrain Leonard. Stop, who dares to touch him? Without a second thought, I rushed over and stood in front of Leonard, gazing at Tom on the hospital bed. I said through gritted teeth, "He's not wrong, you don't deserve it, when you threw them away like trash back then. Why didn't you think about today? Now that you're dying, you pull out some lousy brooch to play the devoted father. Disgusting. Spit." After scolding Tom, I bent down to pick up the old brooch from the ground and clenched it tightly in my hand. I stepped forward and grabbed Leonard's hand. "Leonard, let's go. We don't want the dirty money of someone who abandons his wife and child." Then, I looked at him with unusually bright eyes. "I have hands and feet. I can eat less, buy less. I'll take care of you. Come home with me, Jennifer." Leonard stared at me blankly, his eyes slightly red. Time seemed to stand still. The next second, he reached out his long arm and abruptly pulled me tightly into his embrace. His low, hoarse voice sounded above my head. "Let's go home." The young lady is a goddess descended from heaven. Tom's face turned purple with rage. "Serves him right. Karma, lock them in forever. Melt the key into molten iron and pour it into the Pacific Ocean." The old brooch was Leonard's, strung with a red cord and hung on the wall. The peaceful days didn't last long before things started to feel off. A few black cars with out-of-town license plates began appearing downstairs. Then several suspicious-looking strangers started lurking at the alley entrance. Leonard followed me almost everywhere, even insisting on taking me to the construction site and making me stay in the safe shed. I could sense his tension. A few days later, I went to the nearby market to buy some groceries. Leonard was briefly held back by the foreman to handle an urgent issue, only following a few minutes later. Just as I was carrying a plastic bag and walking through a relatively quiet alley, a dilapidated van suddenly accelerated from the side and crashed straight into me. "Jennifer." Leonard's voice came from the entrance of the alley, filled with unprecedented terror. Time seemed to stretch. My pupils contracted violently, my body stiffened into immobility. I could only watch helplessly as the car's front grille rapidly filled my vision. "Ah, no, young mistress, get out of the way. It's over, it's over. The Carlson family bastards have made their move." At the critical moment, a trash bin piled with trash behind me was suddenly pushed out with tremendous force. With a loud clang, it slammed hard into the front side of the van. the van was knocked off course, its front grazing the hem of my fluttering clothes before crashing violently into the brick wall beside it. The massive impact still sent me tumbling to the ground, my elbows and knees burning with pain as groceries scattered everywhere, still shaken. I looked up and saw Leonard charging forward like an enraged lion, his eyes bloodshot. He kicked open the dented door, roughly dragged out the stunned driver inside, and raised his fist to strike. "Leonard, don't," I screamed out loud. This was no time for trouble. Leonard's fist froze mid-air. His chest heaved violently as he turned to look at me, the lingering fear in his eyes almost overflowing. He pushed aside the paralyzed driver and rushed to me in a few steps, his hands trembling as he checked my injuries. Jennifer, how are you? Where are you hurt? I'm sorry I was late." That night, Leonard stayed by my bedside without leaving for a moment. The ointment I applied to my elbows and knees still stung with a burning pain. Under the dim yellow light, Leonard sat with his back to me on a small stool, gazing at the brooch on the wall. Ivy had arrived unnoticed, standing at the doorway with a grave expression. "Did you see that, Leonard?" Her voice was icy calm. "This isn't the end, only the beginning. As long as you remain outside the circle of power, as long as Jennifer stays with you, she remains their best and most vulnerable target. Next time, you might not be so lucky." Leonard's body jerked violently, yet he didn't turn around. Ivy took a step closer. "You hate the Carlson family, want to stay away. That's understandable. But have you considered, only by truly controlling the Carlson family, standing at its highest position, can you protect those you cherish? That would be the greatest comfort to your mother's spirit." Leonard pursed his lips tightly. My heart twisted into a knot along with his. Watching his struggling figure in pain and the silent brooch on the wall, an unprecedented surge of impulse and determination burned in my chest. I abruptly threw off the blanket, jumped out of bed barefoot, rushed to the wall in a few strides, and yanked down that old brooch threaded with a red cord. "Leonard," I hung that brooch around my neck. I know you hate that old man. I hate him too. But," I took a deep breath, as if steeling myself with some kind of resolve, my voice soft yet exceptionally clear, just if you want to go back and fight, if you can clean up all those who want to kill us, if we can live peacefully from now on." My voice grew quieter as I spoke, my cheeks warming slightly, but I mustered the courage to voice the most crucial words. Then just go ahead. After all, those with nothing to lose fear nothing. We're already living such a hard life. What could possibly be worse than this? Leonard stared at me in disbelief, as if seeing me for the first time. Uncomfortable under his gaze, I added fiercely, "Anyway, I'll be right here waiting for you." Leonard relied on Ivy's precise intelligence, the covertly assembled forces, and his own ruthlessness and decisiveness honed from the bottom up. Step by step, he dismantled the alliance of the Carlson family's second branch. Not long after, he obtained encrypted documents proving that the second branch had embezzled massive family funds for illegal transactions. After securing the files, he didn't reveal them immediately, but waiting for the right moment to bring the other party down. However, the opponent's madness far exceeded expectations. Jennifer is missing. Just as Leonard was preparing for the final takedown one afternoon, he returned to the rental house only to find chaos, a note, pinned to the wall by a dagger. Document exchange, tomorrow night at 10 p.m., warehouse No. 3 at the abandoned chemical plant in the western suburbs. Come alone. If you dare call the police or play tricks, prepare to collect a corpse. Leonard's blood ran cold in an instant. Holy shit, a kidnapping. Those bastards from the second branch, may they die a horrible death. Leonard is going crazy. Give him the document. Saving the young lady is the priority. The heavy scent of rust and the pungent odor of chemicals filled the air. I was roughly tied to a chair, with tape over my mouth, my cheeks burning with pain. The warehouse door was pushed open. Leonard walked in alone. His faded yellow hair stood out strikingly under the moonlight, his expression as cold as ice. His gaze locked onto me the moment he appeared. "Where is it?" From the shadows, a sinister voice spoke up as the second branch's trusted henchman emerged. Followed by several fierce-looking thugs, Leonard pulled out a black USB drive from his pocket and held it high. the files are inside, release them. Throw it over, the leader barked. Release them first. Leonard stood his ground. Humph, Leonard. You think you're in any position to negotiate? The leader let out a sinister laugh and signaled to his underlings. A thug immediately stepped forward, ripped the tape off my mouth, and pressed a cold blade against my neck, MMMPH. The searing pain forced a muffled groan from me. I instantly bit down hard on my lower lip, my gaze fixed on Leonard with a mix of desperation and resolve. No, absolutely not. That document was obtained at the cost of everything he had. It's the only chance to completely eradicate these cancers. Leonard, don't worry about me. I shouted hoarsely. Don't give them that document. If you do, we're all finished. Go, get out of here. Don't worry about me. I'd rather die than see you bow to them for my sake, miss. She would rather die than be a burden to Leonard. I'm crying my eyes out. I take back all the bad things I ever said about miss. Shut up. The thug slapped me hard across the face. My head jerked to the side, my ears ringing. Here are the documents. Leonard spoke with eerie calmness. He raised his hand and flung the black USB drive far away. Let her go, Leonard, don't. He couldn't do this. He had struggled so hard to get to where he was today. The leader picked up the USB drive, his face twisted with manic glee and savage triumph. Haha, Leonard, look at you now. For a woman, you'd throw away an empire already in your hands. What a fool. He shot a glance at his underlings. Let her go. The thug loosened the ropes binding me and shoved me forward roughly. Staggering, I lunged toward Leonard, tears welling in my eyes filled with resentment and heartbreak. You idiot, the files. You gave them the files. At this very moment, police, freeze, drop your weapons. Blinding spotlights suddenly illuminated the broken windows and high points around the warehouse. Police officers stormed in from every entrance. Damn it, it's an ambush. The leader was both shocked and furious, instantly realizing they'd fallen into a trap. In his desperation, he lunged at the nearest person, me, amid the chaos. Jennifer, watch out. Leonard, his pupils contracted sharply as he roared with all his might, lunging desperately toward me. But it was too late. The leader violently shoved me toward the edge of the nearby high platform. No, Leonard let out a heart-wrenching scream that pierced the night sky. Jennifer plummeted straight down from the edge of a nearly 3-meter high platform. Bang! Jennifer landed heavily on the concrete ground, less than 5 meters away from Leonard. Her body was twisted in an unnatural position, and blood slowly spread from her head and beneath her. Leonard stood frozen in place, as if his soul had been drained from his body. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. He practically crawled over to Jennifer, his hands trembling, yet not daring to touch her. Jennifer, Jennifer, broken syllables finally forced their way from his throat. Wake up, look at me, Jennifer, I beg you, don't leave me. Scalding tears fell upon Jennifer's icy cheeks. The police swiftly subdued all the kidnappers. Ivy rushed out from behind the officers, and at the sight before her, her face instantly turned as pale as snow. Oh my God, Leonard, he's shattered, completely shattered. The young lady who fears pain the most actually. Hospital, ICU. Jennifer lay on the hospital bed, her body covered with tubes. The doctor solemnly announced, severe traumatic brain injury, multiple fractures throughout the body, deep coma. Whether she would wake up was unknown. Leonard remained motionless, keeping vigil outside the ward. His faded yellow hair was disheveled, his eyes bloodshot, and his chin covered with dark stubble. In just a few days, he had become gaunt beyond recognition. He held Jennifer's cold hand, whispering over and over in a voice as hoarse as sandpaper rubbing, Jennifer, wake up, I'm back. I've taken care of all the bad people. Look, I've taken back the Carlson family's home. No one will dare bully you.
Tailored suit, exuding the cold aura of someone in power. But when he sat by Jennifer's hospital bed, all his sharp edges softened, leaving only tenderness. He held Jennifer's hand and buried his face deeply in her palm. Mr. Leonard, hang in there. The young lady will definitely wake up. Waiting for a miracle, consciousness floated upward like light trapped in the deep sea, struggling inch by inch. The head by the bedside jerked up abruptly. Those bloodshot eyes widened instantly the moment they saw mine open. Then, scalding tears fell onto the back of my hand. Jennifer, Jennifer, you're awake, doctor, doctor. He scrambled out frantically to call for help. What happened next was a bit chaotic. Doctors and nurses surrounded me for examinations, with various medical instruments being used in succession. Wah! The young mistress has woken up. Leonard, I'm crying my eyes out. Thank heavens, a miracle has happened, Mr. Leonard has finally regained his spirit. The barrage of comments was filled with tears of joy. By the time I finally regained full consciousness and could speak complete sentences, Leonard had carefully moved me back home, lying on the ultra-customized king-size bed so soft it feels like sinking in. I glance at the intricate and opulent crystal chandelier on the ceiling and pout. Leonard, are you uncomfortable somewhere? Do you want some water? He immediately leans in closer, looking anxious. This house, it's too big. I scrunch up my nose and complain. It's so empty and cold. How many people would it take to clean this place? Our old tiny rented apartment was so much better. Just turning around would bump into you. So lively. Leonard was momentarily stunned. Then his eyes filled with deep amusement and understanding. All right, I understand. Jennifer likes lively atmospheres. A few days later, he mysteriously carried me onto a wheelchair and pushed me to the rooftop. When that familiar old iron door appeared before my eyes, I froze, pushing open the door. This place is almost a perfect replica of our rented apartment. If you ever want to live here in the future, we can come up, okay? He crouched in front of my wheelchair, looking up at me with sparkling eyes. The Carlson family hosted a grand banquet to celebrate Leonard officially taking over the group. After the dust settled, Ivy came to bid us farewell. She was dressed in a sharp suit, radiating an aura of competence and confidence. The Carlson family's big ship is now steady. Ivy smiled as she handed a document to Leonard. This is my resignation letter. I won't hesitate to take the resources you promised me. Leonard solemnly accepted it, his eyes filled with genuine gratitude and respect. Ivy, without you, none of this would have been possible. You're always welcome back. The CEO position will always be yours. Ivy waved her hand dismissively, her smile carefree. Forget it. I don't want to watch you two flaunt your love every day. The world is vast, and I want to pursue other horizons. Oh, and don't forget about our 5 million. With that, she waved at us coolly and turned to leave. My face flushed bright red in an instant. Leonard curiously leaned in. Jennifer, what 5 million? Ivy, what did she tell you? Nothing. I puffed up my cheeks and pushed his face away. Ivy hides her achievements and fame. Salute to the ultimate assist. The young lady's blushing is so adorable. Can't get past the 5 million joke. Ha ha ha. Ivy, go chase your own stars and seas. The night is deep. Since I woke up, Leonard has been treating me with extreme restraint. Kisses and hugs are there, but anything further, he always restrains himself like an ascetic. He claimed it was because I had just recovered and needed proper rest, but the doctor clearly said I was already fine. I fidgeted restlessly in his arms. This mattress isn't comfortable. I frowned. Too hard, it's digging into me. Leonard's body tensed instantly. He took a deep breath, his large hand firmly pressing down on my mischievous fingers, his voice low and hoarse. Stop messing around. Jennifer, if it's uncomfortable, change your position. As he spoke, he tried to adjust my slipping shoulder strap. Here we go again, Miss High Maintenance. Mr. Leonard, hold steady. I can do this, frantically brainwashing himself. That slipping strap is totally on purpose, absolutely intentional. Uncomfortable, young miss. Are you sure it's the mattress's fault? The barrage comments have seen through everything. I tilted my face up, moving closer to his chin. You're so warm. Is the heating turned up too high? Jennifer, Leonard's voice suddenly became dangerous and restrained. Far from being afraid, his visibly struggling restraint only piqued my interest further. I leaned in closer, my soft lips almost brushing against his earlobe. What's the matter? Can't I touch my own husband? Or is it? I deliberately paused. Are you scared? Those words were like the final straw that broke the camel's back. Leonard, the last thread of reason in his eyes snapped completely. He abruptly flipped over, pinning me firmly beneath him with an irresistible force. Hey, why can't I see anything? Why did the screen go black? The rest requires payment. We strong women need to watch this kind of stuff to keep our spirits up for life. Wishing Leonard and the young lady eternal happiness.